Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday to all of you. I know this is a pretty big contrast to the last few videos that I have been recording outside in much more beautiful environments and surroundings, much more sunny and colorful. And I think ultimately I will go back to it. However, as you can see, I return to the place. I hope not for too long, because I reached the point of making a decision for the next steps to take, and I will be updating you on this. However, I want to start this video with saying thank you to everyone who has left comments under my last video. And I will go to that video and to some of your comments because they are pretty interesting. And it's, I think, over 800 comments at this point. And I very much appreciate your engagement in it. Before we start, I really don't want to forget this. So we will go back to my last video and the topic that I was addressing there, which is what would you do if you were me, as far as making the decision of what place to choose to live, where should be my next place for maybe a little bit longer. I want to say thank you to everyone who has donated on PayPal, and sorry I'm all over the place, but I'm still trying to find myself because it's not really my place, as you can tell, the energy here. Thank you to John, Michelle, how you say your name? But 1 second, because some of your names I don't want to. John, another John, and Fred, and Richard, I think. Yes, thank you to all of you for your donations on PayPal. I haven't thanked you last time because I was recording the video on the phone and I didn't prepare the list. Anyway, my last video, which was what would you do if you were me, was about me addressing the topic of not being able to choose what country I should move to, or shall I stay in Poland. And let's just go to this video, everyone, because I am really impressed by how many of you have participated in me asking this question. As you can see, this was a few days ago. This was the video. It's the last video, so the one before this one. 803 comments at this point. And I have to say, I'm sure a lot of you were not reading all the comments because it's impossible. It takes a lot of time. Majority, absolutely majority said, stay in Poland, buy a small house in the country and build your community there. This is from this viewer here. A lot of people said, stay in Poland. A lot of people say, go to different areas in Poland and explore it. Few people say, like someone said here, go explore Poland mountain area you mentioned, see how you feel there. When you are in the right place, your soul will let you know. You know, I've asked this question because I just felt compelled to share this with you. And I have to say, a lot of you are in similar situation. You live in all sorts of places, all different countries, and you are actually having the same dilemma, not knowing where to go. A lot of people say, no, don't go to the US. However, quite a number of people said that I should go visit United States, which I agree with, and see how I feel there now after some time of not being there. But majority said settle in Poland, buy your own land in Poland 100%. There were some suggestions of different places as well. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this, how many of you guys are in similar situation. I think overall, it's really the energy shift that we are feeling. My return here was another very interesting experience, and I want to share this with you before we go to other topics and the email that I have received from one of the viewers. My return here was a drop in energy that was so significant that I am now balancing my thoughts, not to be depressed, because, you know, if you allow your thinking, if you believe in everything you're thinking, it's very easy to be depressed. And I think for the last 4 weeks, about 4 weeks, yeah, a month, I have created a certain movement and momentum of my energy that I don't want to waste it now on bringing it down. I have absolute clarity that the place where I was living, even the city and the apartment, the city where I come from is not my place at all. It really brings me down, and I don't see any future for me here whatsoever. So on that, I am absolutely clear, and I agree with majority of you to go to visit to United States and see how I feel there. But I also agree with many of you who say go in different areas of Poland and explore it. And there are areas that I would definitely go, and I will take you along the way with me. So you will have more videos from the outside, which I think are great. What I'm doing here is just easier to present to you some different clips, you know, like information or different portals, or play the videos, because I have, you know, I just sit here and I can click on certain links. But I want to read you an email, actually. I want to read you an email, guys, from someone, one of you. I'm not going to mention the name. This is very, let's put this way. It's good to share it with you, because I'm sure that a lot of you will have something to say in response to this email. So let me go through this, and then I want to highlight something very important that I will be doing probably tomorrow or the day after, but I will go into details in a moment. So one of you writes to me this, literally, I think the same day or the next day after I posted that video. End times, this is the title, and I'm not going to mention your name, so don't worry. Poland, this goes in points, how the future will unfold as far as the countries go. Poland will be destroyed by a big war with Russia. Next, the US will have civil wars and then be destroyed by natural disasters. Take this seriously. Next, the Western Europe will have rough civil wars. Worst in France, Italy, England, and wars against both Northern Africa and Russia. Next, Russia is probably the country out of which the Antichrist comes, if there is not a change in rulers. I'm going to address it tomorrow. Basically, this could be a script where Russia creates all these problems to these nations, immigration, divides and fractions, and then comes to liberate them through war. Although Russia has a traditionalism policy, it's nowhere near religious. For example, take a look at their main war cathedral that they built. It's full of occult symbolism. So here is, before I continue with this email, many of you don't know, there is a place outside Moscow. I think it's about, I don't remember, was it an hour and a half drive? I think more than an hour. I was invited there by two wonderful people, a couple, they're married. And I recorded a video, Russian couple, and I recorded a video from there. And this topic is very interesting, guys, because I actually was physically there. I was in that cathedral. It was during my second visit to Russia. I think it was during my second visit. I believe it was, yes. Anyway, I recorded entire video, and here in this email, I have the link to presentation of the symbolism, the occult symbolism that is present in that cathedral. And in that time, I didn't look at that place with this approach. But now, after I was recording the videos about Putin and what's really going on there, and Chabad in Russia, etc., this really has a lot of valid points. I don't really agree maybe with everything, but this has a lot of valid points. So tomorrow or the day after, please stay tuned, because I will be addressing this. I will dedicate entire video to it, especially as someone who was physically there and explored the place, took many pictures, I actually felt the energy, and now there are different points that I didn't look at. So this will be interesting for you. So let's continue with this email. As far as Russia goes, it promotes globalistic policies more than other European nations. I wouldn't say more, but definitely it does, because again, many in my videos I talk about digital ID, surveillance, cameras, as well as the Sputnik V, which was, still people believe it was different. It wasn't, also has the nanotechnology. Digital ruble, data centers now. So no difference really. Let's go to the next one. It deliberately harms other nations in order to destabilize them. We have seen them buy ads to promote racial division in America. And you probably know that Russia is deliberately pushing immigrants into Polish border through Belarus. Here, I have nothing to say as far as Russia buying advertisements to promote racial division in America. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know it. So if I have more evidence, I will talk about it. Otherwise, I just stay away from this because I don't know enough. So I have to do more research. But I also know that there is very strong anti-Russian propaganda as well. So I have to balance it. To me, what is the most important is the evidence, like the globalist evidence. Pretty much the same agenda, UN agenda, World Economic Forum agenda, digital currency, cameras, surveillance, data centers, the same implementation of Schmovit regulations, and the vaccine, of course. And of course, let's not forget the most important aspect, that is, Chabad, big time. And I talk about it so much, and it's like, visits to the wall, etc., etc. So someone said here, this person, I know it's hard because you're moving to America soon. I'm not moving to America soon. I am going to visit United States. But as soon as the civil war starts, live in capitals. America will have it the worst. This is the first time in 2000 years that almost completely fulfills Christianity's prophecies on the end times. So no nation will help you but God. Well, I agree with that. Instead of searching for an answer online, search for God. Good luck. Well, I want to say one more thing here. I'm not going to respond to you with the email, but I will say this. God speaks to us in many ways. Most of the time, it speaks from within, from your heart. But God also speaks through other people. So searching for the answer online, I'm not gonna, make the percentage, how many people said Poland and how many people said other countries. And that's the way how I make the decision. It's a big decision. But God speaks through people too. God speaks through nature and through animals. So I don't agree with your last statement, but I appreciate your email. And you send me a link that is a very interesting one to investigate more about this cathedral that was built outside Moscow, dedicated to war, actually, and those who died during World War II, etc., etc. And I'm going to present this to you guys tomorrow. But as far as the cities and the countries and the history goes, I came across two very interesting videos on YouTube, on Instagram. Maybe you've seen it before, maybe you haven't. I want to play it for you since it's Sunday and it's, this day that different kind of videos are good. And if I am all over the place today, please forgive me because I lost kind of momentum as far as recording. I want to take you to this video because I've mentioned Tartaria before and I've mentioned sorts of resets before and the free energy before, and many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. This will give you an idea how fake the history is and how many years have been added to our history books. So you remember when I recorded 2 videos ago, I recorded that video in which I said, we know the truth, or you know the truth, and now what? Because I believe we are at this point of our information, awareness, and exploration of truths that we pretty much, I would say, we don't know everything, but we know the most important things. And now, if you stay on this track of following geopolitics all the time, or political news, military news, you are really being drained energetically, and you almost like categorized in a way that like, what's new? It's like now here, now there, like this move, liberate, which is all really, it's a distraction from the bigger picture, in my opinion. So what we are discovering now, I think that is the most valuable, in my personal opinion, you might not agree, is the true history. Like, how much was really the truth about history? I think this is kind of fascinating topic, like what happened or what didn't happen in history, or someone we believe was good was actually bad, or someone who was bad was good. I think this is pretty fascinating because the entire structures and paradigms and religions and belief systems have been built on glorifying certain people and creating certain narratives and stories, right? And literally rewriting history books. So let me take you to those 2 videos. The first one will be talking about history overall, like how many years have been added to our history that didn't happen. It's crazy stuff, but I mean, we question everything nowadays, right? Like the news is fake. Imagine the history. That's the new saying I was coming across lately. And then the second video is about the energy that was created in the cities that have been destroyed by, another reset. So let's take a listen. Let's take a look. And I will be right back with you after playing this.
What if the year isn't really 2026? What if it's actually 1729? There is a theory that suggests 297 years of human history were added to the timeline. The theory is called the phantom time hypothesis. And according to it, everything between the years 614 and 911 AD may not have happened when we're told it did. The theory centers around 3 powerful figures: Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. The idea is that the calendar was manipulated to place their own era around the symbolic year 1000 AD, helping legitimize their rule and rewriting history in the process. If true, nearly 3 centuries were inserted into our timeline, and those centuries fall inside one of the most mysterious periods of European history, the so-called Dark Ages, a period where surviving written records are far more limited than in later centuries. But this raises an even bigger question. If those 297 years aren't where we think they are, what actually happened during that missing time? Because once you start looking deeper, the theory points to supposed inconsistencies in architecture, historical records, and even the dating of astronomical events. And think about what this would mean. Kings, wars, entire generations, and even the dates assigned to ancient buildings could potentially shift by centuries. But the mystery behind the theory leaves one fascinating question. If you could somehow prove that 297 years were added to our calendar, then we're not living in the year 2026. We're living in 1729. What if the year isn't really 20? What if every city built before 1900 was designed to harvest free energy from the atmosphere, until a major reset stopped everything? Look closely at photographs of cities from the 1800s. Across America, Europe, Russia, and India, you begin to notice the same strange features: massive domes crowned with metal, tall spires reaching into the sky, needle-like structures covering rooftops. What if these weren't simply decorative? According to one theory, these buildings were designed to interact with the natural electrical charge already surrounding the Earth. The domes acted as collectors. The spires reached into the atmosphere, and the buildings themselves may have been part of a massive energy system. Then Nikola Tesla appears. Tesla spent years experimenting with transmitting electricity through the Earth and atmosphere without conventional wires. But what if he wasn't inventing the future? What if he was rediscovering the past? Because around the same period that our modern electrical grid began taking shape, the old world was changing. Buildings were demolished, cities burned, older technology disappeared, and energy became something generated at centralized stations, carried through wires, measured by meters, and sold. So what happened? What if every city built before 19...
So I would like to know your thoughts on this, as far as this 200 something years that was said in this video. Let me just stop sharing this, because as far as the second video goes, well, I pretty much, I'm very, very leaning to this idea that's what took place. But I am absolutely convinced that that reset of those buildings that were set on fire all over the place, like in 1900s, in US you say different, like let's say 1800 something, when they had those fires all over the place. And one of the reasons that I love to travel so much and I love to go to old places is because of the architecture. And there are still some places that have this construction. Of course, they are not being used for that purpose, to harvest the energy, like to be the energy transmitters. I think that's how you say it, to transmute this energy. Side note, I've mentioned before, if you went to cathedrals and you have the organs where you play the music, each organ represents the organ in your body. So the tone, the vibration, the sound of that organ is like a healing instrument for your body. And that's why I say it again, I said it before in one of my videos. For me, when I am listening to music being played in those cathedrals, organ music, if it's beautifully, like nicely played, like, someone knows how to play those instruments, I tend to cry often because I feel like it's really therapeutic and healing. But then you look at the mosaics, you look at the windows, actually not mosaics, you look at we say vitrage. It's like, it's a window that has often different colors of glass. It's a very, very intricate work, and it takes a lot of time to create those images. So the windows have like images, right? Built from different colors of the glass, of saints or some scenes from the Bible or whatever is the story. And the shape of those windows is also very important. So one of the things for me is like when I am in places, for example, like Krakow or other old cities in the world, I love those kind of buildings. And I would like to know your thoughts on this, guys, as far as the history goes, what they have removed, what they have added. And now you can see again, the same is happening. A lot of old churches are being burned, even though they are not the energy harvesting spots. But that's a different reason. They are destroying history, like they are destroying buildings that are really old, or maybe not that old as we think, but much, much older than the new ones. And there is still some beauty in the architecture. And it's a symbol of certain era. So this is the video for today, everyone. Let me know your thoughts. I would very much appreciate it. And I think tomorrow or the day after, I will create a video that we will look into that cathedral that is brand new, just few years old, built in a rush, in a way, outside of Moscow. And I will present the video, my video, when I was there. And we're going to read this email, and we're going to go through the details of the symbolism and who actually was one of the artists who contributed his work. His design is implemented there in that cathedral. The more I see, the more I am realizing that it's even, you know, I think it's worst that if you know the evil, like you kind of, you know, you say US is an evil empire because they created that, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about. All those policies and stuff, they want to destroy the country. As US, they want to destroy Europe and many other countries all around the world. But you kind of know what you're dealing with, right? Like you kind of know. So they have this transgender, and they have, 100 genders, but actually they don't. But this is the goal. And other things of that nature. But when you think Russia, you don't think there is any satanism because Putin banned satanism. But then you see like why he has satanic cult that is Chabad Lubavitch like right next to him. So I think this is worst. This is worse. Like even looking at the cathedral and seeing some things there that are really awkward. Now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen it then, because my mind was like Russia is the only holy place in all of it. I think this was the most disappointing, and now even more the details coming out that the country you were thinking is on the other side of it, it's pretending that it is, as far as the government, not the people, as far as the government, and the politicians are everywhere corrupted. Absolutely, makes no difference what country they live in. So join me tomorrow or the day after, stay tuned. And if you feel offended that I'm saying all of this, be offended. But I was able to go there many times and I had completely different outlook on the country, but that's how they brainwash people too, because not many people do the research. And even if they come across information, they have such a strong cognitive dissonance. They don't even open up their mind to accept a different possibility. And even if the evidence is being presented to them, like number of Chabad Lubavitch locations in Russia, closeness of Rabbi Lazar next to Putin. And tomorrow I will go into details as far as this goes as well. People don't want to believe it because it will crush their image and they think it's just bullshit, but it's not bullshit. It's what's happening, and that's why this war with Ukraine is really not the war with Ukraine. Well, kind of is, but it's really, what is it for? I have explained so many times, is to liberate the lands for a certain bloodline, and that's what it is about, and to kill Slavic young men, strong men on both sides. That's what it is about. So kind of replay from World War II. We've been there before many times. That's all I have for you today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And I promise you that I will do my best to get out of this, this gray energy, and record more videos outside for you. Thank you so much for everyone who is choosing to support my work by your donations. It really helps me a lot. It will also help me with my move. And I appreciate it very, very much. The links will be down below the video, my Patreon, locals, as well as Instagram. Follow me there, I would appreciate very much, and PayPal as well. If you appreciate the video and you want to stay tuned and follow me on my journey and learn new things that you probably will not see anywhere else, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, it's free of charge. And again, thank you to everyone who has left the comment under my last video. I read all of them, each and single one of them, and I appreciate your effort, time, and energy, and that you care so much about my being and, share with me your thoughts, because we are connected. And I think this was a beautiful evidence of that. And that's why I decided to record that video, because that's the way how we should exchange our energy in the most healthy way. So lots of love, everyone. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video tomorrow or the day after. So stay tuned, subscribe, and turn on this notification bell. You might be notified. Bye, everyone.